it's Tessa with hipover50.com talking to you about travel, mindset, and moving abroad. And in my case, moving to England. So I thought it might be kind of fun to give you a little snapshot of what is happening in the UK property market because we all want to know what stuff costs, right? And we all need a roof over our head. So are you thinking about moving to England or the United Kingdom? Well, here is what's going on right now. So right now, the average cost of a house across the entire UK is £295,000. Of course, prices vary widely depending on where you are. Let's say in London, you're looking at more like £506,000 as an average, and in Scotland, you're looking at £192,000. Usually, the further west and the further north you go from London, the cheaper the prices get. Of course, that varies widely again. Of course, along the coast can be more expensive, but generally, the further away from London, it gets cheaper because London commands a premium. Even towns and cities that are within commuting distance of London command a premium because people have to get to work and they have to live somewhere. So they will pay to live within commuting distance of London, and that drives up prices. Plus, we're living on an island, so there is always a supply and demand problem, even more so the last couple of years. So what did that do? What happened in the pandemic, for example? Well, last summer, we were still kind of coming out of the major pandemic niche. And in August 2021, between August 2021 and August of 2022 this year, they say house price growth was about 14%. It was pretty healthy, right? Of course, at the end of August last year, there was a stamp tax duty cut. The government gave everybody a little break on stamp tax duty, which is a tax that you pay when you buy or sell a home. And so everybody kind of rushed around to try to make that work for them, so it did push up a lot of home sales and pushed up prices along with that. And, if you take that element out of it, another source I came up with said actually house price growth over the last year was more like 10%. But that's still pretty healthy, right? I mean, that's very healthy. But what does that mean going forward? I mean, what can we expect? So we're in a cost of living crisis, and of course, mortgage rates have almost doubled because the banks are trying to slow down inflation by raising interest rates, and the mortgage companies and banks are only too happy to pass that along on mortgage rates. So it has slowed demand somewhat. People are still wanting to move home, but things have slowed down a little bit. And I think going into 2023, some experts are saying we could look at maybe zero price growth. In other words, prices won't go up, but they won't go down either. Another source says, no, it could be about as much as a 5% price drop between 2023 and 2024. Another source said, no, it's going to be a 12% price drop by mid-24. So nobody really knows how this is all going to play out. There's always going to be a bit of a supply and demand problem here, like I said, because we live on an island and there's a lot of people here that need to have somewhere to live and that like to move house. So that is always going to be in the mix. But I think the cost of living crisis is affecting a lot of people, not everybody, of course, but it's affecting enough people that it probably will slow down just the price growth. And hopefully it'll just stabilize right there. But I'd be happy to come back here in the beginning of the year and take another look at this because I think everybody's just sort of guesstimating at this point. They can see the actual numbers from the past year, but projecting what is going to happen in the future is a little harder. If it were me, I wouldn't want to buy right now. It just feels like things haven't settled down enough. So if you don't have to, I would say hold off. But let's take another look at the beginning of the year and see where we're at. So I hope that was helpful, giving a little snapshot. By the way, the average house price in the U.S. right now is at $428,000, which is shocking. So if you adjust for dollars, the average house price here in the U.K. is $336,000. So that's actually cheaper, quite a bit cheaper than the average price in the U.S. So just something to think about. So that's all for now. I hope that was helpful. If you have any suggestions, questions, or recommendations for future videos, put them in the box below, and I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.